right. Hello, hello. Y'all, good afternoon again, ladies.
Hello, how you doing?
Hello.
Good, good. And for those that are just joining, so thank y'all for building through their eyes, women in the community. Y'all, we're ready today. Look, I was showing off my little mug earlier. Can y'all see that? You're
Yes.
the she to my nanigans. Yeah, we're ready today. I have my sparkling water ready to go. We're ready.
Perfect.
Okay. So again, thank y'all for joining. Super quickly, ladies, I'm gonna cover y'all up real quick.
Okay.
So we are going live every Tuesday, the remaining Tuesdays of this month. So you have a couple more Tuesdays to check us out at this exact same time, right? But right now, we have Dr. Jasmine Scott of Attraction Wellness Center joining. We have Anne Marie Risto of C Inc. joining, and we're about to jump into it, ladies. Y'all ready?
Ready.
Okay. So loosen us up a little bit, right, before we get into some of the community center conversation. So the first question I have for you is, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Okay.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, go
Go ahead.
ahead.
You want me to go first, Jess?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, I would want everybody to be able to see that they know that they are seen and valued. Like that would be really important. That would be my superpower. If everyone knew that they are seen and they are valued, I think this world would be like a very different place. So that would be my superpower.
Okay, I like that one, and I see how you tied in
Yeah.
your business, your organization, everything. Okay, and I see you,
Okay.
Jasmine.
So my superpower would be to heal people with my hands of sickness and diseases. It's kind of along my field as being a chiropractor. So I
I
would like
love
to
it.
do that.
See, I love it. Y'all are super smart. I love it. Y'all. I mean, so you said y'all wish y'all had these superpowers, but that really is the work that y'all do, both of you all. So guess what? It is your superpower in real life. How about that? How about
Right.
that?
All right.
Yay.
And so and then my answer would be, well, I mean, I'm a woman, and that is its own superpower. So we're doing the thing, ladies. We're doing it.
That's right.
And Jazz, we would start with you.
Okay.
Would you intro a little more about yourself? Tell us some more about who you serve, what you do.
Okay. Yes. I am Dr. Jason Scott. I am a chiropractor of Attraction Wellness Center. And I am just that. I'm a chiropractor who loves to serve the community with adjusting patients that have post surgical conditions or and still have pain, or pregnant moms, the working class, mainly people around 20 to 55 is my main target, but I could adjust people from 0 to 99 plus. Doesn't matter. If you could walk into my office, I could adjust you.
Right. Cool, cool.
That's awesome. It's like the work is limitless, right? It's
Yes.
yeah, I feel the same way. It's people are always like, "What's your target audience?" And I'm like, "Well, it could be this range, but it could be here or it could be there because C Incorporated is about systematic equity edits. So it's about recognizing that we have a problem in this world in the form of exclusion and discrimination, and equity is void at this point. And so I like to build awareness and provide education and that human centric approach so that we can break down the barriers and stop those that have been historically marginalized. And so that's the see things differently, right? I like to help people see things differently, build in that mind shift of recognizing value and beauty instead of it being a demoralizing or marginalizing experience when we are interacting with those in our sphere of influence.
That's awesome. That's great, and that's what we need in the community, especially in the community of women.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I actually have an event coming up in May for women. Since you mentioned women, and we're talking about Women's History Month. And it's called Shine, and intentionally called Shine because the S, the H, and the E are capital and the IN are lowercase, because it's focusing on valuing our stories from within so that we can leave greater legacies. And it's my first like fundraiser event, but I'm so excited about the content and the experiences people are going to be having. It's like I'm getting ready for Christmas or my birthday or something.
Yeah.
Thanks for mentioning women, because that's also like a big part of what I'm doing right now.
And you know
That's
what?
awesome.
That's the perfect segue to the next question I was going to ask y'all. We're talking about building community, right, through the eyes of women for this particular month, for this special month, Women's History Month. So, how important is it for you, right, for you as an individual, you and your work, to celebrate, to recognize, and have these conversations about women and women-centric conversations?
Yeah, so I think it's essential, Jess. Like, to me, women are marginalized, and I also don't want it to be like we're victims, right? We bring great power and empowerment to this world. And so celebrating us and allowing us to have a voice that's heard is an incredible work to do. So I think it's really important that we're celebrating women of yesteryears and of today, because there's always great things evolving. And for us to be recognized and for us to be celebrated is a really great thing for the generations to come. I believe that there's great value in multi-generations and looking at not just our sphere of influence in our present day, but where that's going to leave us, that legacy in the future. And also remembering those who have forged the way for us too. So I think it's essential.
Yes, that's totally correct. All that you said. It helps us leave the thought in younger women mind that, hey, I can do that. I see her doing this, and she's close to my age. I can do this. I don't have to put myself down. I have a community to build me up. So I think that's really important to show the kids now, hey, you can do it. This is how you do it. And I think that leadership and that layout of how to do it, and it can be achievable through measurable goals, is the path and the way to go.
All right, look, y'all are just. I mean, it's just a beautiful conversation y'all are having, and that was the point. I love it. But Jazz, I'm gonna address this question to you first, Jasmine.
Okay.
So, what advice? You talked about the younger girls. What advice would you give to young women who aspire to be leaders in their field?
Stay in your Bible, or whatever God that you believe in. Continue to pray, continue to manifest your goals, and be your future self now.
Mhm.
Don't wait. Be it now, because you can improve now. You don't want to wait and say, oh, now I have to start the improvement process or start the molding process now, when you can do it now. Don't procrastinate.
Yeah, that is a big deal. That is a big deal. And I'm gonna say this for procrastination. I was reading something that talked about sometimes people are almost accidental procrastinators because they're striving for perfection.
Mhm.
And so there's a lady who talks about procrastination being, perfection being selfish, right? That is just, you want it to look a certain way. You don't want to let it go yet until, but if this vision, this service, this product, whatever it is, was given to you, then you're supposed to release it, right? But you
Right.
won't, because you want it to look a certain way. So that's been a really interesting conversation that's come up a few times that I've had lately.
That's a good point of view.
Yeah, that is a good point of view coming from someone who we've had this conversation before. So, and I'm always
I wasn't talking about you, I promise.
I think you were talking about me.
I wasn't.
yeah.
Y'all are telling on yourselves. I just had that thought to share that. So listen.
Yeah. No, that's a good thought. And I'm going to actually take it back to the what we would want, like girls that are being raised up or women that are being raised up now. And I think about my granddaughters and my niece's girls. We have 4 under the age of 6. And one of the moms was having a conversation with one of the girls because she was all in tears because her sister said something to her in some way. And her mom said, you know what? You know that you were sorry when you apologized. So don't let her take that away from you. You know what's inside of you and you know the person you are. And I just thought, wow, if even some women today could hear that,
Mhm.
I think that it would change their lens and the way that they interact with their world. And I'm just so proud of the moms they're becoming and the girls that they're raising into being strong, confident women. And so I would really want any woman to know that you've got it within yourself. You have what you need. You add value every day. You are important. And it doesn't matter what the world tries to put on us. It's where our heart is and where we want to lead, where we want to give, and that will shine through. That will make all the difference in the world.
That is a big point, a major point. You were talking about, your daughter and nieces, right?
Mm.
So, that's a lot of the reality, I'll say, with millennial parents and Gen Z, and y'all know that's one of my favorite topics to talk about the generations. But there's a certain mindfulness that these women bring where they're making sure to kind of try to balance the scales a bit. I don't know if that's a good analogy, a good example, but thinking about some adjustments that maybe they wish had kind of happened in their lane, in their space. So they're making sure that they parent and teach through that and is showing up, because these are some of the deepest little people, these little alpha kids, right?
Yeah.
These alpha generations, these are some of the deepest little kids. My goodness. Let's see. Tabitha said, we are all important and we have to be okay with ourselves before we allow others to reframe our personal feelings. Exactly that.
That's true.
Exactly that. Definitely. Building up that awareness, right? That self-awareness. Because y'all know, so we always start there. Before we start looking around, we need to make sure we look within, for sure.
Totally.
That's right.
Mhm. All right, y'all. So kind of thinking about the generations, if that's the topic again. It's Women's History Month, but I also have been seeing a hashtag trending, like Women's Future, right? So
Okay.
how can we celebrate and honor the contributions of the past, but also supporting these women of the future? How can that be a thing? How can we honor both and give time to both?
Wow. So it's interesting because I don't see it as an either or. I see it as community,
Mhm.
right? And even those who are no longer with us on this earth, I see as a part of our community because they've helped build us and recognize all the beautiful things that we're able to do and contribute. So I'm almost like, can it be like Back to the Future, like a hashtag back forward, because I do believe that there is great strength happening today and moving forward. And I do believe that we can contribute to that, like you mentioned about the multiple generations. But I also believe that we can't even see what we're preparing our girls for or our women for. And so there's got to be a release of inspiration and just like looking inward to what's unknown for outward, right? Like we don't know what kind of position they're going to be put in, what kind of things they're going to face. And I do think that there's great value in looking back in history, um, unfolding some of the stories that were not told is very powerful. Just the act of doing that is powerful for our future women because they can see themselves more presently and recognize that they have a voice and can stand a little firmer on being seen in what they're giving to this world and doing it in a lot more encompassing way too. You know, like women tend to not just focus on women. Women focus when we come in community, we're focusing on like changing humanity.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep. And to add on to what Ann said, continuing the legacy, connecting the dots. So it's like a flashback from the past, but how are we connecting? How are we continuing that legacy? How are we building on that legacy? What have we learned from that? And when we tie it all into what we're doing now and what we did in the past, I think we see the bigger picture. Now we could see the bigger picture.
Mhm.
So
Definitely. Look, and Tangeray Porter says, "Hi, ladies."
hi.
I feel like Tangeray can co-sign on that, so maybe you all can too. The idea, I know, and you said back forward, Jasmine, you said connecting the dots. There's a principle, an African-based principle called Sankofa, and I think that that's what it means basically. Excuse me. That's why I keep drinking my water, y'all. Excuse me.
Mhm.
But making sure to look back so you understand the present and future better, right? So it's just understanding the cycle and the connectedness. Definitely.
Yeah, and what do we want to influence our young women?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Right? Like we give power to that. And so we need to be able to recognize it and recognize where it's being hidden and needs to have some light shed on it so that we can make sure that they're standing on a much firmer foundation.
Mhm.
Okay. And Tangeray said, yep, it means to retrieve, to go back. Right. Just the power in learning those things, right? Because well, we know that because people say, I guess, the same thing many different ways. They say, oh, well, we have to make sure we're aware of history so we don't repeat the same mistakes. So that same kind of thing, there's always lessons to learn, positive and negative when we look.
Right.
So we're talking about community, right? This new community, this future community. In your present, though, what inspired you to do the work that you do? What inspired you?
You want to go, Jazz?
No, you can go.
Okay. So it's kind of deja vu that today is the day we're having this conversation because I actually just did a launch. I never did a formal launch of my business. I was so busy working on content that I think that it was therapeutic for me to work on the content, and then I also think that I knew that I was going to have to be vulnerable in the reality of, why is this blonde-haired, brown-eyed girl working on diversity and inclusion, and what does that mean? And so I literally just posted today on social media about my experience with, as an adult, having been diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer and going through this often unseen now disability of it's messed up with my entire cognitive processing. I used to be able to read a book and remember it word for word. I used to be able to take research in different elements and synthesize it very smoothly and eloquently. I used to have like a lot better hair, like the superficial things. And so it was really like, for me, I always dedicated my career in education to focusing on my students who were in the most struggling situations, very low SES, very marginalized for speaking a second language, which I never could understand because it's such a gift for people to be able to speak more than one language. And I'm not capable of doing that. And so I always like praised my kids about honoring that and not letting go of that when they would come back in tears from their fine arts wheel because someone had told them they couldn't speak in their home language. So it was like this focus on ensuring everyone had opportunity in universal design for learning, that it wasn't just designing curriculum or offering learning that is for a certain percentage of the population, but maximizing learning so that everyone can fulfill their dreams. So I'm focusing on all that, and then I get diagnosed with this whammy, and at one moment in time that seemed to linger forever. Like I remember the day I went out to my car after I got the diagnosis and just got in the car, and it started to downpour, and I sat there and just cried because I didn't think it was going to be real. I didn't think it would ever happen to me. And I knew that it was going to change my world entirely. So going through an experience like that, having people tell you, well, they make wigs, like they're trying to be helpful, but it's hurtful, right? Do you have your finances and all your paperwork in order? Just different things that they would say and do just made me want to curl up in a ball. There were days that I didn't even want to get out of bed. There were certainly many days I didn't even want to look in a mirror. And so coming out on the other side of that with this residual memory loss and inability to process the way I was processing, it just made me realize how many unseen disabilities there truly are. Mm-hmm. And so that also like makes me think about just our human capacity to better understand that we don't have to have all the answers for people when they're going through things. And we also don't need to judge or have preconceived ideas of what people should be like because of the color of their skin or their social economic status or their different way of learning or different abilities. The list can go on. And it's not to belittle any one over the other. For me, it just became this is real. This has happened to me now. And this is what I need to focus on because it's my calling. It's my bright side from the dark days. And I believe that I have a lot to offer people in understanding more clearly their equity consciousness, how we look at each other. And we might think that we're not doing something that could be marginalizing, but we are. And how we can come together and be courageous in conversations to be able to lift each other up and say, I need to learn about this or help me. This is an area that I don't know and I want to learn and grow. I can never put myself in someone else's shoes and no one will ever be in my shoes, but we can come alongside each other and definitely like bring in that human-centric component of making this world a much better place and embracing place.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story. Mm-hmm. That's one of the reasons why I want to become a chiropractor. I'll see different family members have different diseases, or different aches and pains. And, as a child, you figure out why can't somebody heal them, or why can't this? So you start to question and think. So I wanted to become a physical therapist at first. I did all I could to become a physical therapist. And the Lord was like, nope, that's not what I want you to be. I want you to be a chiropractor. And so I was like, I don't know what they do. All I know, they study nerves, but I don't want to do that. So I went to an open house and I actually sat down and learned all of what chiropractors do. And It's really unlimited. They do nutrition. They do, of course, adjusting the spine is their primary goal. They substitute supplements to kind of give you what your body needs to heal itself. And so that is the main purpose of chiropractic. We give you and your body the tools to heal itself. We just help with the to unblock the channels that are subluxated or not functioning properly. And so that is my basics. So of course I'm still new. I'm still learning on how to do different things as far as supplementation and nutrition. But I look forward to it, and plus dry needling also complements chiropractic. And with dry needling and supplements, I mean, I've seen chiros change someone's life. And so I look forward of learning more and doing those things to help people.
Listen, I'm like, I need to do better making sure I show the comments. So let's run through some of these because Tangeray is thoroughly enjoying y'all's conversation. I'm sure as we have some people on the replay, they will as well. So, Anne, I believe that was for you, where she said, thank you for your vulnerability. Yes, right. Unseen disabilities.
That's right.
Yes. And then you also said the bright side from the dark days. So that definitely is something, that we can stick to, because that we could say that that's a lady's motto, isn't it?
Right.
That
Absolutely. Yeah. And it is that, like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but it is really that, you don't know when you're going through it, you're just like, why? The mental health was like, my lowest. And you do, when you keep getting up, right? You might not even be present when you're getting up, but you keep getting up, and then your days become less owning you and you own them again. And so then you look back and no, do I want anyone to have that experience that I had? No. But wow, to see how God's using it in my life now, and for Jasmine to share for her, right? She didn't know, like, she wanted to do physical therapy, but God called her to chiropractic. And I just believe that, like, it's an incredible blessing, right? And know that you'll be able to see it one day, or you might not be able to see it one day, but it will be recognized in others. And we don't ever know the people that we get the opportunity to help sometimes.
Right.
And look, also this encouragement. So this is when Jasmine was talking. Tangeray said, yes, chirotherapy, it gave me my life back.
Awesome.
It's so healing.
It is.
I feel my clearest after appointments. Yes.
That's no interference.
Mm-hmm. And then she said it changed mine. So she did say, when you said, and ultimately changed lives, she said it changed hers for sure.
Because people got to understand that the brain and the spine goes to all the organs, all the tissues,
everything.
And so if you don't get your spine maintenance like you get your car maintenance, it can go out of commission at any time, any point. Mm-hmm. And so, I encourage everyone to get adjusted.
All right, ladies, really quickly, because look, believe it or not, we have about a minute left already. I know.
Wow.
No. Yep. So if y'all would tell everyone how they can find you all, if they want to connect with you, ask some questions, do some business, right? The women-owned businesses, women-owned organizations here, how can they find you?
Yes, you can find me at attractionwellnesscenter.com. I have all my info there, or you could find me on Facebook at Attraction Wellness Center.
Yeah, and I just popped it in the chat box. My website is seethingsdifferently.org. And then I also am on actively on Facebook and Instagram again, and under my name, Anne Risto. And I'm just getting ready to launch the business in social media. So I'll look forward to seeing everybody around there. And of course, LinkedIn.
Yes, of course. Right. Well, I first connected with you, Ann, huh? And we have had quite the chats and everything since. We sure have.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I'm popping the ladies' websites into the chat. So Tangerine, yes, time flies when we're having fun, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And then, so it's also going to the Facebook and YouTube channels as well, ladies. Okay.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Just our final thought while we're closing out. Just this quote. When I was thinking about who you are as guests and y'all's work, this thought was one I wanted to leave to close out y'all's particular session.
Okay.
So we women who are strong, excuse me, let me start over. We need women who are strong, that can be gentle, educated, but they can be humble, so fierce that they can be compassionate, and so passionate that they can be rational, and so disciplined, yet they can still be free. Okay. And I wanted to leave y'all with that. It made me think of you all and y'all's work. So
Beautiful.
thank you all for spending some time and
Thank
having
you for
this
having
conversation
us.
today.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. So we'll tell the people bye, and people, thank y'all for joining. Put
you.
hashtag replay if you're catching it on the replay, regardless of the space. All right. Thank y'all.
All right.